Cannabis has certainly helped me too. The tinctures with my hip and my leg, and I was in so much pain, and I didn't know what to do, and I don't take any medications, and I didn't know until you educated me, and then I got your book and read it and said, "Holy cow, this is amazing."
Thank you for that, honestly, because when a simple look, it's a 116-page book can change a life.
Welcome to Season 6 of the Cannabis Truth Podcast, where we speak the language of cannabis freely and uncensored while educating our audience on safe use of this live plant therapy. You should know what's in your cannabis, what's good and what's not, because cannabis does not come with an FDA stamp of approval, yet. The information you will find here comes straight from scientists and clinicians, doing the work and reporting their findings in reputable outlets. Hopefully, we can inspire you to research the facts as we know them today. Cannabis is an amazing alternative in health remedies, with the potential to alleviate typical disease problems and troubling side effects, even those caused by synthetic prescriptions. Here now is the host of the Cannabis Truth Podcast. She is a 21st century cannabis shaman, not a doctor, not a scientist. Raised by nuns and wolves in the verdant cattle pastures of the Oklahoma oil fields, here to amplify the truth of this great big story of cannabis in historical, political, scientific, and spiritual terms, so you can make educated decisions about the medicine you choose to ingest. Please welcome Honey Smith Walls.
Hello, Carolyn Beauchamp. Oh my gosh, I'm still looking in the wrong camera. Carolyn, darling, thank you for joining me on the Cannabis Truth Podcast. Audience darlings, I want you to know that Carolyn and I have just come out of a tech class together, and we are just going crazy looking for our cameras and where the eyeballs are and where we're supposed to. Oh, it's so silly. But that's what we're doing together, and I can't wait for you to hear the rest of the story as soon as I introduce my friend and author and hypnotherapist. Please welcome Carolyn Beauchamp to the Cannabis Truth Podcast. Hi, darling. How are you?
Hi, well, very well. And yeah, that was quite the learning curve, right?
Honestly, you and I are both kind of in the same mature boat, aren't we?
Kinda, exactly. I'm actually a little older.
Well, I can talk about the Mayflower, can you?
Well, I can talk about my ancient ancestors, but
yeah, there you go. Or my sisters, the Salem girls. Yeah, you go. Right. Oh, funny. Audience, dear, Carolyn and I have been joined at the hip the last few months, just enjoying each other's company, but also these business classes that we've been doing together to up-level our skills as speakers and to be able to present our services to the world. And so it has been truly an amazing learning curve. And we've found such a beautiful feminine tribe of entrepreneurs doing the same thing we are, ministering to other women in all ways, don't we? Tell the audience what you do. Tell them how you got to be an author.
Okay. Well, first, I was a singer, actor, model for many years. I was in the entertainment industry. After being steered into the sciences, into the medical dental field through my father, which didn't work for me at all. So I found myself following my muse and listening to my own inner promptings and serendipitously finding my creative self and being able to really use it and make a living at it. I was a model, singer, actor. It was fantastic. It led me then to hypnotherapy. After yoga instruction, I was in a terrible car accident and I couldn't walk for a little while after. And so I had done yoga prior to that. So I incrementally, like every day, I would just move literally that much And then the next day, that much, until I got myself back. And when I did, I said, oh my God, I have got to teach other women that they can do this too, of how important it is to use this tool. So I got my yoga certification and I taught. And it was very rewarding. And then it led into hypnotherapy. And so then I became an advanced certified clinical hypnotherapist. And that was very fulfilling because I was helping people in so many different learning curves, as we were talking about, but emotional learning curves, and how to listen to their own inner promptings and how to follow their true calling and their true passions and really express themselves in their relationship, in their work, whatever the situation was that they would come to me for. So I was utilizing, and still am utilizing, a lot of real empowering tools for transformation. People literally were having transformation. I was trained extensively in trauma and abuse. That was my specific training, even though subsequently then I did lots of different trainings and lots of different modalities, past life regression, soul merge, channel clearing, lots of different things, Psych K, brain balancing. So I use a lot of different modalities, but the basic common denominator is empower people, get them back to their own self. And if they did have wounding, process through that, release the emotional trauma, and then reprogram something else. So that's basically how that works. And that has been really, really transformative because I had to go through it myself in order to help other people go through it. So in my training, we literally had to go through the fire. I would go away for 5-day intensives, which were a lockdown. No phones, no computer. You ate, slept, and worked together for those 5 days. And I used to say to one of my partners, we had different, partners in different modalities. I'd say, cover me, I'm going in. And that literally was what it was like, because we were going in our own wounding, our own childhood trauma, and processing through it. So it was very, very transformative. And therefore, that transformation led to my book, because I lived it. And a lot of other serendipitous events I'm not going to go into, but one thing led to another. I originally didn't know that. I started my book before I was a hypnotherapist. And then, or actually, I think I had just become a hypnotherapist. Yeah, I had just become a hypnotherapist. But I wrote, because I was still an actor head. So I was doing it from an acting perspective on stage with movement coaches and monologues. And we would have to write a monologue based on some situation in our life. But it was to really create our own personal power story. So that's how it started.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. And so I wrote about 100 pages. And then I had just become a hypnotherapist. So all of a sudden I got pulled into this world, and I was just too busy. I stuck it on a bookshelf and forgot about it for 10 years.
I get that. I so get that. But writing is like a calling, I think. And it just, gushes out of you when its time is nigh, it feels like.
I think you're right, because I didn't know why. And I remember at the time when I was compelled, I flew all the way out to La Jolla, California to do this training with some football sports star who had a very interesting story, wrote his story. It was made into a screenplay and then became a movie. Well, then he was teaching this cathartic, transformative technique. And, when I heard about it, and I still to this day, I'm trying to remember, how did I even ever hear about him? I don't remember. But when I did, I was compelled to do it. And I don't know why, but I thought, I just have to do this. Well, other people had told me for years, you should write a book, you should write a book. So I was like, yeah, but it just, you just shove it aside.
Yeah.
Right? You shove it aside. But until he came along, and for some reason I said, I don't know why I have to do this, but I have to just do this. And I just got on a plane and flipping went out there. From Florida, I flew out to California.
Wow. That was a real calling. It really compelled you to go, didn't it?
Yeah, it compelled me to go and really get my story down, which I'm glad I did, because the first 100 pages, when I went back to it later, I said, oh my God, I'm so glad I did this 10 years ago, because I might not have remembered it now. So I did those 100 pages, early childhood, up until a certain point, and then some really trippy things happened that brought it back to that I needed to pick it back up, and that's all in the book. I don't want to spoil the story. So I continued with it. Yeah, so then I continued with it, and then it was a real mission because of these events that happened. I was like, okay, I have to just put blinders on and do it. And as I did it, I realized I couldn't have finished it 10 years ago because I had to live into it.
Oh, right. Yes, exactly.
Right? And so all the people that I helped in hypnotherapy sessions and all the experiences I had, and in my own, because I was continuing with trainings and I was continuing in breathwork sessions. So I was constantly having my own cathartic realizations as I was helping others through theirs. And so then that gave me the ending to the book, plus a lot of other situations in those 10 years that happened that added to the story and brought it full circle, which I never could have done 10 years prior, and I never in a million years could have anticipated.
Wow. Carolyn, is that your book behind you on the wall? Show us your book. Do you have a picture?
Yes, I do. This is my book. Can you see it?
It's beautiful. Horses to Higher Consciousness.
Riding the cosmic current. And that's what it is. It's a cosmic current. And I have the picture here of me on the horse, because horses figured prominently in my life, but they weren't in my life continuously. They came and went through some rather disturbing chain of events. I always was so drawn to them and wanted my own horse, and I didn't get my own horse till I was 50. Actually, older than 50, I was probably 55. But they came and went throughout my life, and they were so important to me, and I didn't understand why. It was such a overwhelming connection that I couldn't understand it, because it wasn't like they were there all the time. So the story, through writing it and through experience, gave me the reason, which is the ending of the book.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the inspiration throughout the book, and so many epiphanies for people to share.
So many. And that's the point of it. And people have their own. And my purpose and reason for doing it was for people to really follow their own internal guidance, their own inner GPS system, and not be influenced by others who know better or think they know better, right?
Right.
And that only your own soul knows what's right for you.
I admit I've had a hard time understanding my own intuitive guide all my life, but I'm becoming so much more in tune with her now that I am in this tribe. And I'd like to just go there for a minute and tell our audience, you and I met at this business academy, Elizabeth Ocean's Women's Holistic Business Academy.
We actually met at Jackie's first. We met through Jackie.
Oh, that's right. And Jackie, that's right.
Right.
So the whole idea is that we were mentoring, we were being mentored and getting mentoring and mentoring each other and all of this. That's what we were doing together as women of this age, trying to uplift ourselves, make a living for ourselves as single women of this age. And so you can't do it alone, girls.
Nope.
simply cannot do this shit alone.
It's so hard because
It's so hard.
we weren't raised in that era. We had to learn all that way after the fact.
Still do. Still have to learn a lot of it. The financing and all of that stuff. Our guys were taught to take care of all of that, and girls, don't worry your pretty little heads about it.
Yeah, exactly. Except I had to because I had to learn because I've been single for a long time. I've been in and out of bad relationships, but yeah, my father set a man's going to take care of you, even though you need something to fall back on. He always looked at my career as something to fall back on, not something to be fulfilling in and of itself. Right? So
Yeah.
so that planted that
Boomer terminology. Here it comes.
Yes, boomer terminology. Yep. So none of those marriages worked for me. Nothing worked for me. So I had to do it myself. Women didn't learn about finances. My brothers were taught about investments. They were, schooled in that by my father. My father was always going to investment meetings, but never discussed it with the girls. Right? So
yeah, so we're trying to take care of that now and take care of ourselves. And in doing so, and we are, both of us have written books. Here's mine, horses. Girl, you are in my head. I'm telling you, horses and healing beyond high. Healing beyond high horses. You see, get up on your high horses, girl. All right. Cannabis Truth by me. Healing beyond high. There it is. Anyway, both of us are authors. Both of us are trying to help you heal. Now, we're not just trying to help you. I'd kind of like to delete that I just said. We're showing you because we've already found out. And so this is how we're lifting women. By telling you, by mentoring, by coming on stages like this and telling you what we have learned. And when you hear these epiphanies for yourself, it's like a little magical carpet ride that just takes your mind off in a new direction, on a new little journey that you suddenly have some courage for because it's an epiphany. And those are what change your mind, your ideas. So, in your lives. So, I started out doing this with cannabis when I had such a hard time physically a million years ago. And cannabis helped me get past all of those issues. Also helped me get past the death of my husband. Also helped me, get past my anxiety. And that's another thing. So the level of anxiety that women live in constantly, it's horrific. It is just horrific. And you can either tune it out and watch your soap operas and your games and your scroll on your Facebook all day, or
have cocktails, or
you can learn how to help yourself and move forward and lift all of our society by doing so.
Absolutely. Through both, through the emotional healing and with the cannabis, because the cannabis has certainly helped me too. The tinctures with my hip and my leg, and I was in so much pain, and I didn't know what to do, and I don't take any medications, and I didn't know until you educated me, and then I got your book and read it and said, holy cow, this is amazing.
Thank you for that, honestly.
Yeah, honey, no.
This is a shout out to all my entrepreneurial sisters. I'm wondering, are you feeling stuck like I did when I first started my business? I hadn't been through business college, and there were so many things I didn't know and understand, especially about marketing, especially about the back-end bone structure of your business, and all the little things that you could do to help yourselves in the way of tools. So looking forward, if you need help in getting those little projects done, but you've been stumped because you just couldn't figure out one piece of that app or the next step or the next darn, and you just wanted somebody to just show me how. I'm your girl. That's why I created honeyshelp.com. Now you can get a la carte help for those little projects that have just been nagging you and nagging you. I can help you with a lot of that stuff that builds the backbones of your business. And we can do it together, stress-free, where you will enjoy learning how to structure the backbones of your business. I hope that you will go visit honeyshelp.com for more information about what we could do together to get you past those hurdles that have just been stumping you for so long, when all it would take is just a few minutes of somebody showing you how. I'm your girl. This is Honey Smith Walls, and I hope that you will too. Go visit honeyshelp.com today. Hi, Honey Smith Walls here. I'm host of the Cannabis Truth Podcast, weekly for the past 6 years. But today I'm inviting you to a Facebook group called the Holistic Relief Summit, in hopes that you too will come for the peace and stay for the epiphanies. It's a beautiful space for women to find all kinds of relief from all kinds of suffering. Come join us for free. Hey friends, why is this product so special and why am I showing you on my phone? Because when I show you the real product, it's backwards on the screen. So I just wanted you to know that, yeah, I really do take this product. It comes in dropper form and I love it, love it, love it so much. Why? Because it helps me with pain and anxiety and nausea. And it does a whole bunch of other things, and it's not even cannabis. It's not. It's a terpene. Dr. Blair, the founder of this product, found out that a higher concentration of this terpene would do a lot for us, like calm anxiety, calm nausea, calm inflammation, calm pain, and it's not even a cannabinoid, but it acts like one. That's the key to this one terpene. What's so amazing about this one terpene? Let me tell you the name of it. First of all, it's got a lot of syllables in it. So it's called beta-caryophyllene. Let me see if I can show you that up here. It is an endocannabinoid activator. You see this girl thriving at 71? I blame this product for most of it. And the name of the product is BC Plus. It's so cool.
I didn't know until you educated me, and then I got your book and read it and said, holy cow, this is amazing.
Thank you for that, honestly, because when a simple little look, it's 116-page book can change a life. This is, it's
a roadmap. It's a roadmap.
It's a roadmap. Just like
great.
yours is. Yours is a roadmap for following your intuition, for being guided by the clarion of truth.
And and being open to listen, because some trippy things happen. I mean, my book has got some really pretty crazy things in it, but they happened, and I just said, okay, instead of, pushing it away, I said, okay. And I just said yes. And the same thing with you. I said yes when you introduced me to the tinctures, and I said, oh my God. And I got your book, and I read every scientist. I read what they had to offer. I read, what it addressed. I loved your little quiz at the end, because it really, really helped me. Yeah, I know the answers to these. This is really great. It helped cement it in. And then I felt knowledgeable. I felt in control. I felt empowered. And I said, why not? I'm going to try it. And it really made a difference. It really
I'm so glad to hear that. That is why I wrote the book, because that's what happened to me too. It made that big of a difference that I just can't stop talking about it. And I've been talking about it for almost 7 years on this podcast.
Well, good for you.
Keep going. Yeah, it took me, like you, it took me a while to grow into the book. I had to go through a decade of living with the scientists, that thing you were talking about, that intense learning and knowledge and soaking up of the information and all that stuff. And then it just spews out of you because you see where you can parse something that most people don't get.
Right.
Give them the answers that they need before they ask.
Well, you did the heavy lifting just like I did, with all the years of hypnotherapy. Like I didn't just train and then stop and just help people. I was continuing. I'd go to conferences and do and study with other people and go through the cathartic experiences, which gave me more understanding, like what you're talking about. It gave you more understanding of diving in deep with the scientists and really getting into their heads and understanding it and using it and seeing how it transforms over time. We can't know it immediately. That's why I couldn't have written the book 10 years ago when I first started it. You couldn't have written yours.
Couldn't have. The transformation is what we're looking for and what our society needs.
Absolutely.
Transformation. And it's really hard to transform in the middle of chaos. Until you can calm that chaos and anxiety and fear down, you don't have room for thinking new thoughts. You're too involved in the trying to swallow the acid and, that's coming up from your stomach from all that fear and anxiety.
Which is true. Good point. It actually is in the body. And when you're feeling all that fear and uncertainty, and remember, a lot of that was programmed, which I have to help people deprogram. Those are programs that were set in place a long time ago to disempower people and keep them in victim mode, right? And get them in survival mode. Well, we're of the generation that, because we lived through the 60s, when the first wave of trying to change this happened, right? And then it just got squashed down again, and just more drugs and alcohol and the shut-off mode of just keep everybody numb, right?
Ooh, with drugs.
Keep them numb with drugs.
And alcohol.
Yep, drugs and alcohol, and the conditioning of keep them in the rat race.
Oh,
Keep them in the 9 to 5. Keep them so busy that they don't have time to go within and even find out who they really are.
They didn't teach us to go within. That was my next question. How does somebody figure out that they need to go within and then come find you to get help to do that? How do we recognize the need to go within?
Well, the same way they do when they're in so much pain, they're so inflamed from all the acid, when something physically is so bad in their body that they come to you for relief. The same way, mine's just in the emotional way. They're so emotionally crippled, and they, somebody mentions it or someone says, well, you could try this. I always tell my clients, I'm the last stop on the train. People try everything else first, and where I should be the first stop, because I go right to the root cause. Let's take care of this. They're with me for 2 or 3 sessions and we're done, instead of, being drugged for a million years, right? Or being in therapy, every week for 25 years. No. Because we bypass the conscious mind and the critical faculty, which is the guard gate to the subconscious mind. So with hypnosis, we go into an altered state of consciousness. We go into lower alpha and sometimes theta brainwave activity, where the critical faculty steps aside and we go right in. I would say to my clients, it's like we give the critical faculty and the conscious mind $10 and say, go out and have some coffee. And when you come back, and then when they're gone, then we get in and do the work, right? So when the conscious and critical faculty is out of the way, we can get right to the programming, right where the programs were created, and change them.
Well, it's wonderful to have an option like this. And until I met you, I really had no idea what hypnotherapy could do for a person. But you helped me reframe a very, very fearful upcoming event. And I was really surprised when I successfully sailed through that event. And it was just like, it was just like air. It was just like a breeze. It was just like a breeze. And I had such anxiety over it. But you gave me relief from that anxiety in my emotional mind. And then, because of how you taught me to reframe that, I saw it in a successful way and manifested all those good vibrations into it. And that's what happened to it. That whole situation turned happy.
And that's the key, because you changed it. And you have the power.
With my vibe, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We create what we think about, right? And the emotion that we put on it, all that fear strengthens it in the negative. But when we realize we have the ability to change it, and then we change it and we empower ourselves, it just dissipates. That's why I think you described it beautifully. It felt like air, because it's just like poof. It's like the little kid that thinks that, there's a monster in the closet. The mother goes over and opens the door and turns the light on and says, "Look, honey, there's nothing here." And then the child is, relieved. It's the same thing. We just turned the light on.
Wow. Well, it was an eye opener to me and a heart opener, and I've utilized that little trick a few times now. So I was really, really tickled. If you all want to find out what that trick is, oh my glory, contact my friend Carolyn Beauchamp. Why don't you tell them how to get in touch with you, Carolyn?
Yeah, all you have to do is
wait. Yeah, go ahead. Say it.
Yeah, all you have to do is go to carolynbeauchamp.com.
That's it. I knew that and should have said it too, but I'm so glad you did. carolynbeauchamp.com.
And that's a little complicated because it's a long name. So it's CarolynBeau Champ, CHAMP. Sounds like.
And if you were Australian, they'd say Beauchamp.
Yeah, or British too. Yeah.
Right. But we'll have it in the notes as well, so that it'll be a hot link for you just to put your little finger on and clickety click. So
and that's just one like teeny tool of what I have. I mean, that's just like the tip of the iceberg, because I do the real deep work too of going within so that we can uproot the negative beliefs that you've held that are trapped in your muscle memory, your cellular memory, and your DNA. Once we uproot that and then find out what the false beliefs are, then we change them right there in the state of hypnosis, which is miraculous. Because, people always harp on affirmations. Well, affirmations will not necessarily work if you have an underlying belief. Like if someone comes to me and they want to lose weight, so they say, well, I've been saying I'm slim. And I say, yeah. And your subconscious mind is saying, no, you're not, you're fat.
Right.
So they will sabotage themselves, right? Because, the subconscious mind is laying on the couch eating the cookies and says, what are you talking about? We've been doing this for 15 years now. You're telling me, no, rejected. It just rejects it. So we have to reprogram the subconscious mind where the programs are, just like in a computer.
And it has to be true.
Well, yeah, the computers are modeled after the human brain.
Yeah.
Computer.
Yeah. Oh, I'm having so much fun with Chuckles, my chat GPT.
That's a really good computer. Functional one.
I know. We are really up-leveling our computer skills and our tech skills, and it's just fun to be on the cutting edge of all of this, especially with what we're doing. So, friends, thank you for coming and joining Carolyn and me. Thanks for being here, darling. Show your book again so we can see your beautiful cover. Did you design that? It's so pretty.
Yeah, well, I didn't design it myself, but I found the image, and then I found a designer, a British woman, and so she told me how to, to get how to get that image, and then she would create the graphics.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. It's very compelling. I really want to pick it up and thumb through it. You know how we readers are. So thank you again for being here, Carolyn. It's been a delight to be with you, and I love you so much, and I'll see you on the other side.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It was wonderful. And I'm happy to support the mission because cannabis is so important. There's healing beyond high, and it is there. And honey is the queen.
Thanks so much. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
You've been listening to another Cannabis Truth Podcast with 21st century cannabis shaman Honey Smith Walls. Using cannabis mindfully as medication is a different concept in Western healthcare philosophy, specifically over the past century. There's a lot to learn and reconsider. The scientific truth of cannabis is finally getting out and is wide open for all to see at respected medical sites like the National Library of Medicine at pubmed.gov and the Journal of American Medical Association at JAMAnetwork.com. We here at the Cannabis Truth Podcast are right there in the thick of it, alongside the titans of medicine, as a fly on the wall. We are not doctors, nor did we go to medical school, but we have taken dozens of private cannabis courses and still engage in continuing education offered by expert cannabis scientists. Over the past few years, we slowly began to see and understand the bigger picture. Now we hear from people all day long about cannabis. It is so important to use verifiably safe products. The process of getting a diagnosis from your family doctor and taking your records to a cannabis specialist can lead you to the correct cannabinoid therapy for your specific issues. Otherwise, you're simply your own guinea pig looking for answers without the foundational knowledge or ability to determine your best strategy. To find a qualified cannabis expert in your area, visit cannabisclinicians.org. This is a national society of cannabis experts. Look for the link in the show notes. Unless otherwise proven by a reputable third-party lab test, please regard all street weed as contaminated. It may do grave harm to a patient with a delicate immune system who already has inflammatory issues like arthritis, IBS, fibromyalgia, or worse. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you find value and understanding through the conversations you've heard on this podcast.
A quick shout out to Nathan Pierce and Daniel Rome of the 406 Budcast and their brilliant tech goddesses who created what you're about to hear next.
She walked in with wisdom and a fire in her eyes, talking plant truth where the silence lies. From the roots to the bloom, she saw the light. Now she's teaching folks how to heal it right. Not afraid to challenge the tale of lazy myths in a system that failed. She's got science in one hand, stories in the other. Lifts up the voices they tried to smother. Honey knows, honey grows. Truth in the soil and love in the smoke. Speaking for the elders and the ones left behind. She's the shaman of the leaf with a warrior's mind. Yeah, honey knows how the healing flows. From Florida sun to digital waves, she's breaking down fear with every word she says. Cannabis truth, that's her battle cry. For the mamas and papas still scared to try. She ain't selling hype, she's serving facts. Taking big pharma to school with class. With a mic and a mission, she lights the way for the lost and the curious every day. Honey knows, honey grows. Truth in the bud and peace in the dose. Teaching the plant like a sacred art. From the ECS to the beating heart. Yeah, honey knows. How the healing flows. She's been burned by the system, lifted by the plant, giving voice to the ones who thought they can. A sister, a savior.